Okay, let's do a Slushy deck profile this time around, and I'm really starting to hate on that glare. Like, god damn it. It doesn't seem to be that bad because you can see that it is indeed a Slushy, but yeah, glare. Like, kindly bugger off, light source. Okay, anyways, so moving on. Let's just get on with this deck list because I think I still have like a couple more to do. I don't know. Might just get lazy and stop doing it after this. Anyways, so we've got three Slushies. Summon one, dump another one to the grave. It is really awesome. It just kind of looks funky. Whoever thought up of this idea is, I would admit, it is kind of a weirdo, but is the thing is incredibly. It's so stupid that I like it. It's so derpy that it's just awesome at the same time. That's what the derpiness makes it awesome. So, yay. Triple swap frog, because you pretty much need this frog engine to work with the slushies. You just ditch something special the swap frog, dump a slushie. If you dump a slushie to special summon the swap frog, that's extra bonuses because you got that graveyard shit all set up, which is actually which makes DD Crow a very annoying thing to deal with in this deck. So yeah, so three swap frogs as the main part of the swap frog engine, two dupe frogs. Reason I've seen most people run three. I've seen a couple of people run one. Reason I stick with the two is I don't really have any room for the third one. I could drop a Treeborn for that, but I would like to just keep Treeborn at 3 for now, because it seemed to be doing pretty well in testing, and I don't really want to stick with the one because I do have Creature Swap in this deck, which actually makes it pretty damn awesome, and I'll zoom in a little bit. Because you basically it's just 100 attacker. As soon as it dies, you get a search. It's really nice, and it's even better when you Creature Swap for one of their big creatures. It's really nice to have that going. Anyways, double Ronin Toadin. This is another very integral part. Just banish frogs. Basically, this thing it increases your power, increases the power of your monsters by stacking up into Gachis very quickly. So Ronin Totem is an absolute must. I'd probably roll it at 3 if I did not if I had room, I'd probably run 3, but I'd need to actually find the third copy because I don't know where it is. Triple Treeborn Frog, yeah, like I said, wanted to roll this at 3 because it's done pretty decently in the testing phase so far. I might cut this to 2 before I ever play it at a local, and I would like to play it at a local because I put together a side deck for this thing, which I think would be pretty decent. So for Slushy targets, Slushy brings out level 5 or higher Sea Serpents by banishing itself. We have 2 Poseidras and 1 Spiral Serpent. I was only running 1 of each and a Millen Glacier, but I continued to find the Millen Glacier being completely and utterly dead, and every time I tried to go for it, it would cost me the game, trying to manipulate the graveyard to go for it. So I'm basically just sticking with the 2 Poseidras and the Spiral Serpent. Reason I have Poseidra is at 2 is because of another card that came out in Lord of Tachyon Galaxy, which you'll see as part of the Diva engine, which is coming up next. And Spiral Serpent is a 2/9 either way, so beat stick, defender. This thing is actually pretty damn decent. It's vanilla, but it is a very powerful vanilla. It is tied for the third. I believe it's tied for third strongest vanilla in the game. The only monsters stronger than it are Go Giga Gaga Giga at 2950 and Blue Eyes at 3k. So, anyways, Diva Engine, which is just the main 3 divas, along with a Lost Blue Breaker, Legendary Atlantean Tridon, and Spine Gilman. Now, Legendary Atlantean Tridon is the card that I was mentioning earlier. Apologies for the glare. I'll just move the divas aside because divas are divas. Basically, what it does, by tributing this and another Sea Serpent on your side of the field, you can special summon a Poseidra straight out of your deck, and then all your opponent's monsters lose 300 attack. This is actually pretty decent as well because it is a 1600 attack monster. So with 1 Gachi, that makes it 2k, so it's easily able to just beat over a Thunder King. That, and it just has a really awesome effect. It's really good idea to tack this in. It is a Sea Serpent itself, so it does make for a good diva target. And if you don't want to go for the Poseidra, like if the both of them are in grave, you can always just sink a 5 with it. It's not that big a deal. Okay, so for tribute monsters, we have Mobius, Sea Lancer, and Rage of the Deep Sea. I've seen a couple of variants that spam the crap out of Sea Lancer, which is actually not too bad an idea. But I'm just sticking with the one because I do like the idea of getting back your banished slushies and equipping it to this thing. And I like Rage of the Deep. I like Rage of the Deep Sea as well because it's easily you can get this back with salvage. It gains 500 for each fish, sea serpent, or aqua type monster in the graveyard, so it gets very, very big very quick with the frog engine in play. And then Mobius I have in there, which is as a means of baiting out some back row. It pops 2 back row upon its summon, so if this thing gets hit with like a warning or a Starlight Road, that's actually not that big a deal. It's like even if it gets hit with a Starlight Road, I can just remove a Slushy, bust out a Spiral Serpent, nice, and I just roll over the Stardust. To be honest, Starlight Road does not really hurt this deck that much at all, because the Stardust that gets busted out onto the field is likely to get run over unless the opponent really does value the rest of the back row. So, anyways, additional milling cards. We've got 2 Lila for the back row hate, 2 Raikou. I can use it for back row hate, but I prefer to use it to get rid of monsters. Back row hate is definitely an option for this thing because I don't actually main any MSTs because I don't have the room for them. And this is basically sort of a turbo deck, so you're basically supposed to just roll over your opponent, and you don't really need the MSTs to bait out back rows because you'll just have other stuff baiting it out. Anyways, 3 Necro Gardeners, because if you're going to mill shit out, might as well run these to keep yourself safe. And a Gauze, because the only card I would ever really set is my Burial, and then even then again, it's chainable to pretty much anything. So, anyway, spells, double creature swap. This thing is godly with all the frogs that you roll. Bring back a Treeborn, swap it. Bust out a Slushy, mill a Slushy, swap it. Dupe Frog, like I said, swap it. If your Diva gets Veiled, swap it. It's just so versatile, and I love the card in this deck. 2 Salvage, like I said, you can get back Rage of the Deep Sea with this, and it is godly. You can also get Divas, Frogs, and stuff like that back. It's really, really good and absolutely necessary for the deck. Monster Reincarnation. This is just good for getting back anything that Salvage can't get back, like one of the Light Swans, or if you mill off your Galls or something like that, you can get it back with this. I've seen some variants of this roller, Cephalon, the Ultimate Time Lord. I did have one of them in this deck. I decided to take it out because if I'm really going to run it, I would like to run it at 2, just so that way I can actually see it. Because when I was testing it at 1, I never saw it at all. So I'm just like, screw it. I'll wait till I get a second one. Anyways, Charge, because because Light Swans are in this. Burial from a different dimension is another way to get your Slushies and Banished Frogs back, and then the Triforce, because like I said, don't main MSTs because of the turbo nature of the deck. So for the extra deck, one of the decklist videos I saw basically says that aside from the Gachids and I guess the Leviat, pretty much everything else is basically just based on player preference, which is one really good thing I like about building the extra deck for this, because I can pretty much roll whatever I want. So, what I'm rolling is triple Gachi, because this is pretty much a staple for the Slushy build. You're just churning out level 2 monsters each and every day. You've just got these level 2 players for days. So Gachi is an absolute must. I run 1 Dark Mist because it is incredibly awesome. The only other 2 options you really have are Shine Elf and Digusto Phoenix, and I'm not running either of those because Shine Elf is and Digusto Phoenix is a Gusto, so by definition it sucks and I hate it. Anyways, rank 3s, Leviathan Dragon, Acid Golem, and Leviathan. I was a bit iffy about Acid Golem, but then when I was just like, well, I do run Creature Swap in the deck, so I'm just like, yeah, screw it, I'll go with it because it is an absolutely awesome card to go with there. 1 Utopia, just in case you can go into your rank 4. I believe increasing that. No. I'd probably just have to steal an opponent's monster in order to make rank 4 plays, so I just have the Utopia in there just in the case that I have an opportunity to go for a rank 4, then I can do it. So for synchros, we have Gashilodon and Magical Angel, it's level 5s. Gisheladon is really nice. When a face at level 3 or lower monster is sent from field to grave, this thing goes to 3k. It is amazing. And Magical Android is really nice in combo with a Gachi. You have a 28 beat stick that replenishes your life points. So that's a really nice. Double Flamvell Uru. This thing is godly in this deck in tandem with Gachis. One Gachi makes this a 2/5 beat stick that pierces. It gains 300 every time it inflicts battle damage. So the piercing really helps that out a lot. This thing I do believe can win games just on its own. The thing can really just roll over Gaia Dragon as a decent piercer. One Gungnir is my level 7. I could go for a Black Rose, but I don't really have the room, and Gungnir is a really awesome card anyway. Crimson Blader, just to shut down all those stupid level 5 summons. I did have a Stardust in here, but I took it out for something else. And one missed one for the level 9 play. So, anyways, now for the side deck. Interesting little story about the side deck. I was just kind of thinking about, I was just kind of in the process of modifying a bunch of decks, and I kind of thought, maybe, should I build a side deck for this thing? And if I did, what would it be like? I put together the side deck, and that's when I came up with the idea of making this an actual competitive deck. And I'm going to show off the side deck here because I think it's pretty busted. Double Light and Darkness and double Caius, just to add to the just to add like some Frog Monarch elements to it, which I think will be pretty good considering a whole bunch of the special summons are going to be sealed off. But like if people use Crimson Blader, and then there's Ophion, of course. Caius is brilliant to get rid of Ophion because you can just target it with Caius. They can't chain dress because Caius is already, well, they can chain dress, but it's not going to do anything because Caius has already targeted the monster, and it's going to burn the opponent for 1,000 because, hey look, Ophion is a dark attribute. And then of course Light and Darkness. Light and Darkness will wreck the face of pretty much anything, and if you can get this out first against E-Drags, they're screwed. They're almost screwed, but they can come back because, I mean, it's E-Drags. They're the dopiest deck I've seen since frickin' Synchro Cat. So, yeah. Anyways, Penguin Soldier, because in case I do go up against Evil Swarms, I side the Raikous out for these because these do not fall short to dress. Raikou does because it prevents Ophion from being destroyed. And it can go off during damage step. So you go with the Penguin Soldier, and they'll just target the Ophion, and then it's just like, haha, go ahead and use your dress. Anyways, double Soul Exchange, once again, Frog Monarch sort of influence here. It is absolutely brilliant to bring out a tree board, use this on one of their incredibly beastly mosses, and then just trip it off. It's really awesome against like agents if they ever drop Christia. You just target their Christia and then trip them off for Light and Darkness. It's just like, come at me, bro. Double Enemy Controller. This is just, yeah. It and Treeborn go together like frickin' spaghetti and meatballs. Then we have the 3 MSTs in the side, in case I do go up against those really annoying decks that spam the shit left of back row, like the Mermails. I gotta have some that are chained to Bisphere, and I'll also have Royal Decrees for that as well. I got the double Royal Decree here, so yeah, that is my Slushy build, which I called which I gave the own personalized title of Slushy Smash Up. Because it's kind of like Slushy Beat Down, but I kind of like the alliteration there. So Slushy Smash Up is the name of this deck. And so, yeah, hopefully I'll be able to use this in a local at some point. Definitely not this Sunday, because I'm probably going to use Heretics. I might still use this, so who knows? Just have to see what happens. So, don't know what I'm going to do next. I might just, not do anything else, but yeah, see what happens. If I have another decklist video, then I have another decklist video, so yay for that. So yeah, see you for that or whatever.